What's up, y'all? This is Brave, and I'm back with another review of Ready to Love. This is season 10, episode 2. The episode is titled, We Got Some Chocolate, y'all. And let's go ahead and get right into this review. First things first, I'm going to be completely honest. I don't know if they didn't get a lot of good conversation that was had or what, but I feel like when we saw these people interact, we didn't really get much out of them. Or am I tripping? You know what? Let me just go ahead and start the review and we can discuss. So first things first, we meet Coley. She's 32 years old and she's a flight attendant. When she gets there, she meets a guy named Fritz. He's 36. He's a financial analyst. And he's worried about her work benefits, okay? When he found out that she was a flight attendant, he's like, oh, so like your companion pass. Oh, you be flying and stuff? That's cool. So how about your buddy pass? It was giving, he trying to get the free flights. I don't know if he's really interested in you, girl. So he does say that he likes to travel. He was just in Italy. You know, he definitely did give production some photos of him traveling around the world. So, I mean, cool. If these two like to travel, that's dope. But I feel like that's all we got. Moving on from there, we meet Tay. She's 35 years old. And I mean, she looks great. Really, 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 really pretty girl. She says that she was very focused on school and getting her career started, okay? Because she is a nurse. I can't remember what type of nurse she is, but I know that is she the nurse who does like anesthesiology or something like that? Something like that. I can't remember. But she says that she was really focused on her career, but now she is ready to date. She's ready to find her man. Now, we do see Coley have a conversation with a guy by the name of Cam, who is actually 33 years old and he's a firefighter. However, when I tell y'all this conversation was ridiculous, it was ridiculous. She asked that man, oh, so you guys have a pole, right? He like, what? Yeah, she's talking about the pole that the firefighters are supposed to slide down. That's what she's trying to get at. And he's like, no, that's not at every station. So then she's like, yeah, but you guys do have a Dalmatian, right? I'm just like, girl, what children's program are you watching? Because this is such random questions. So you mean to tell me that you just think that all the fire stations have a pet Dalmatian? Okay, girl. All right. Moving on. I'm not even about to go there because she giving a little dingy upstairs. So then we meet Rocky. Rocky a little hit in the face. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know. Maybe it was the angles because like they had her looking a little rough. But she is 36 years old. She is a medical QA specialist. What type of specialist that is, I'm not sure. So I'm just going to call her a medical specialist. So according to her, she needs her a grown man. She needs her a man who got a beard, who got a little hair on his chest, okay? And we learned that she writes erotic poetry. We learned this while she is talking to, I believe it was Khalil. Yeah, it was Khalil. He's 31. He is a roofing company VP, and these two basically learned that they are from the same area. The only thing is that she's older than him, so they didn't, grow up together, so they probably didn't even cross paths, or if they did, they didn't know each other back then because she's older than him by 5 years. Moving on from there, we get to Cisco. Cisco is 42 years old. He works for the housing authority. What does he do exactly? I'm not sure. But he ends up talking to Rocky as well. He talks about how he loves to teach kids and he loves to teach them how to work out. And I'm just like, oh, okay, interesting. You have like a part-time job at like a recreation park? Because where are these kids learning this stuff from you? I'm just curious. So we also learned that he is an amateur bodybuilder. So he over here taking his shirt off and the ladies are loving it. But here's the thing. That man was sweating, okay? He has so much sweat on the side of them temples. I said, yeah, he hot. He real hot. I don't see nobody else sweating like this. Keep in mind, he had on a t-shirt. Everybody else got on full-blown suits. And he is sweating. You hear me? So after we left their conversation, we jump on over to a guy by the name of Hussein. He was 42 years old. He's a visual manager. And let me tell you, Tay caught his eye, okay? She was talking to a whole nother man. I think she may have been talking to Khalil, maybe. Didn't matter, because he's like, can I step on in, my brother? That girl caught his eye, and like I said, Tay is very, very pretty, okay? And then they say, we had a new person come in as well by the name of Rose. Now, Rose is 38 years old, and according to her, she needs a man, okay? She don't know what everybody else be talking about, all that independent stuff. That's not her. She wants a man. And she just may find one here, okay? Hopefully. Now, we learned that she actually is a mom. She had her first child when she was 21 years old. I'm going to assume that that's the only kid that she has. I think it is, because she said she has a son. And I'm just like, ooh, girl, you have a teenager, because she already 38. So her child is almost out the door. Okay. And that was pretty much that. When I tell y'all, I done ran down about the first 20 minutes in like 5, because the conversations were not conversating, okay? Now, Will is back in the mix. And of course, he's still with the jokes, baby. Ain't nothing changed about Will, okay? I feel like they not as inappropriate, but we still ain't about to learn nothing about this man. We not. And then who shows up? Sahara. So she come in, and let me tell you something. She said, y'all not about to homegirl me today. Y'all not about to friend zone me today. Baby, she put her dress on. She put her heels on. And then she said, oh yeah, and I wore a little love potion. I'm sorry, you wore a what? Unless you about to buy some love spell from Victoria's Secret and you rub that on your body, what you mean you got a love potion on? Y'all, now I'm not trying to judge anybody's religions, but is she about to hoodoo voodoo her way through this competition? Like, that'll be a first. Now keep in mind, we done had some people on the show before who have like their tarot card readers, and they got their psychic people that tell them whatever. But baby, we ain't never had no hoodoo voodoo through the season. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. So here's the thing. She ends up catching the eye of, I think it was Cam. Yeah, she caught the eye of Cam. And baby, I think the spell was working. I think her potion had some motion, because that man, he was just smiling at her. They wasn't even talking about nothing. Like, for real. In that whole scene, they wasn't talking about nothing. And both of them, they just smiling at each other. I'm just like, yo, this about to be crazy. Let me find out that she about to put some potions on people throughout the season. Oh my God, this about to be interesting. Now, next thing you know, Tommy shows up, right? Of course, he got to arrive, welcoming the singles, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Let's get to the next set of conversations. We got Hussein and Rose talking, okay? He talks about how he's into interior design. Like, that's his thing. I feel like he said that a solid 4 times in that conversation. And I'm like, okay, and what else you got to offer besides that? What do you do besides interior design? Like, do you have your own interior business? Because according to the show, your title said visuals manager. What exactly does that mean? Do you stage the furniture at a furniture store? Like, do you stage the stuff at the IKEA? What do you do, sir? And I'm not even trying to knock you, but I wish some things were explained. So then Rose opens up to be like, oh yeah, well, that's really cool. I'm a hairstylist. And because he has like a little beard or whatever, she's like, and I make a beard oil. I was like, okay, cool. Baby, that was the whole conversation. I said, what the fuck? Again, we ain't got nothing out of these people, but we gonna stick with it. So then the next person that we see is, I think it was Fritz and Coley. They were talking, and he's like, yeah, I don't know how we about to compete like this. And he's referring to the entire show as in we all have to compete with each other to find partners within the group. You know what I mean? Here she goes. She talking about some compete with each other. The only way we would be competing with each other is if you were trying to find a man too. Girl, what? Like, at this point, I'm like, is she trying to be funny? Or is she just dingy? Like, is she just ditzy? Cody, what's going on upstairs? Like, I really want to know. Now, moving on, we see Cisco. He is talking to Shanice. Y'all, Shanice has been floating around in the background. We finally see who she is. And baby, before I can get to the age and the profession, Miss Mama's, that outfit and that makeup, it was all a no. I don't know if it was because it was extremely hot, so you really tried to like mattify the makeup, or if the makeup is an off shade. Something was off about that makeup. And like I said, that outfit, baby, you was doing a lot. Now, we learned that she is 44 years old and she is a residential habilitation CEO. What does that exactly mean? I don't know. Like, do you do housing for the homeless? Or like, do you do housing for the elderly? I just need for you to explain what that is. That's all. I'm just curious about what that profession is. But nonetheless, these two, they sit down, they talk, whatever. And again, he talking about how he took his shirt off and people think he is show off. But no, it's because he hot. Even if he had a beer belly, he would still be hot and he would take his shirt off. Okay, sir, what else is going on? So she talks about how she usually goes for men that look like him with some type of like Latin descent. And I'm just like, I'm sorry, but I looked at that man and I thought he was black. Did not know he was Puerto Rican until he spoke. So, do you go for black men or do you go for Latin men? I'm just curious. Now, they sit there and they talk about the fact that, number one, she is a serial entrepreneur. So I guess she has a lot of businesses under her belt. Good for her. And she then goes on to talk about how, in Philly, I guess everybody's always, working so hard that they don't really have time to date. Because he went on and on about how all he do is wake up in the morning, go work out, and go home. Or, I'm sorry, he wake up, he go to work, he work out, then he go home. That's his routine. And honestly, I feel like a lot of people are stuck in a routine. Now, I will say this. I did like the fact that both of them, they like to work out, because she said that she does Pilates. And maybe this may be a connection, because honestly, I'm not even mad at this, because he's 44. No, he's 42 and she's 44. I'm not even mad at this, because these people are in the same age range. What I don't want to see is him trying to date the young Tinder that's like 32 years old. We don't want to see that. Let's keep it right here, baby. Age appropriate. But let's go ahead and move on. So then, y'all, we get Coley talking to Will. And when I tell y'all, I said, what is this? It was like watching Dumb and Dumber talk. I don't know. First of all, Coley was doing that baby talk thing, and it was pissing me off. Oh my God, do you need a napkin? Oh my God, you're sweating? I'm just like, you gotta stop with that little soft voice that you try to do. It's annoying. And then you have him just laughing at any and everything. I'm like, ain't nothing funny in this entire scene. Nothing. Both of y'all can go. Now, we do get a quick little glimpse of Sahara talking to Cisco, and she telling him how flexible she is in every which way possible. I said, girl, okay, you poured it on thick. Then we jump on over to Rocky. She's talking to Cam, I believe, and she was telling him about how at one point she had to start, I guess, dating white men because black men wasn't really paying her no never mind. And this man talking about and I apologize on behalf of the dark-skinned men. Negro, why are we doing this? Also, girl, you light-skinned. You could very well be half white. Do we care if you went and dated a white man or a light-skinned man? We don't. All right, so now we get this conversation between Fritz and Tay. First of all, straight out the gate, he basically lets her know that all the guys have eyes on her. And they start talking about something about him, I believe. Oh, they were talking about how his birthday was coming up. So he's like, yeah, my birthday's on Friday. She's like, what do you have planned? And he's like, oh, I was supposed to be in Panama, but I ended up, coming here. So instead of going to travel, party, have a good time in a beautiful country, he decided that it would be better for him to come on this show and possibly find the love of his life, because he is ready to love. Sir, I really hope that you find somebody, because, a Panama trip is real nice. Now, Tay actually surprised me because she seems to be a little bit interested, because she likes the fact that he's well-traveled and she wants a man that can teach her stuff about different cultures, and he just might be the guy for her. I said, okay. We started out early with a little love connection, so we'll see if they go anywhere with this. Now, moving on, we see Rocky. She's having a conversation with Khalil, and we learned that his brother passed away. Unfortunately, his brother took his own life, and we learned that they actually work together. So, yes, I think he works for like a roofing company, but it's a family business, okay? So I guess the dad probably started the business and then brought the boys on. Now, as they were talking, they both had tattoos, and they had similar tattoos. According to Rocky, they had a few things in common. However, she is not planning to put all of her eggs in his basket, okay? Miss Mamas wants to spread out and meet all the guys, give everybody a chance, okay? Slide it on over to Cam. Now, he's talking to Shanice, right? And here's the thing. They're talking about what she does for a living. Y'all, she listed, I promise you, at least 7 things. She said she owned a group home. She had an online store. She got a trucking company. She's in healthcare. She's looking to build an app. She was a celebrity stylist. Ma'am. You doing a lot, okay? Now, I can understand if somebody wanted to know your full work history, but I don't think this was that, ma'am. I really don't. You could have just listed like, oh, I own a group home and I have a few other businesses. Or whichever one is the one that make you the most money, really. You could have just said, I'm in healthcare and I have a few other side businesses. You know what I mean? You didn't have to list off everything. Now, what's crazy is that he feels like, all she is her work. Everything about her screams her work is her life. And then she ended up talking to, I think, Khalil, and it was the same thing. And I feel like there's a lot of people that, unfortunately, because they have worked so hard to get to where they are, it kind of becomes their personality, okay? Because, and here's the thing, I will say this, a lot of times, listen, it took a lot to get to wherever that person is. So now that they're there, it's like, yeah, most of my time is spent working. It's no different than when women become moms, their whole personality is that they're a mom. They ain't got nothing else going on but being a mom. No different here. And yes, there should be some balance of what you do for work versus what you do for yourself. But if you think about it, that lady listed 10 businesses, okay? When does she even have time for herself? Like, truly. If you got all that going on, when do you have time? I don't think that she does. However, you have some people who may have their one job that's worked 9 to 5. You got a little bit more time to explore who you are as a person and all those things. This girl right here, she's so booked and busy, she ain't got time for herself. Now, moving on from that, we see a clip of Coley. She was telling Cam this story about how she said that pollution was falling from the sky and people had to tell her that it was snow. Girl, where are you from? Like, I'm not understanding. Unless you are a person from, like, Hawaii or something where there is no snow, I'm not understanding your logic. Like, are you playing up being this, like, goofy ass ditzy girl or what? Moving on. We see Tay talk to Cisco. Now, they talk about the fact that, he's Puerto Rican and how they would love to go to Puerto Rico together and if she can dance and all the things, right? Now, here's the thing. Cisco is definitely into her, and she's into him as well. Now, he ends up asking her about her past relationship, and she's like, oh, it was a year and a half ago. Now, his was almost 4 years ago. Here's the thing. I think it's so interesting that, like, they always ask on this show, well, when was your last relationship? Like, yeah, a person's last relationship could have been 5 years ago. However, how many situationships did you have in between that time and today? Because it's not like these people be like 4 years celibate, ain't talking to nobody, just focusing on me. Really, it could be not. That was a year and a half ago. I dated this man, but I still been seeing all these other people. I'm just throwing that out there. They didn't want to do a commitment, but they were still dating other people. So I think we need to start asking, when's the last time you was talking to somebody? Because that person may still be creeping in the corners. I'm just saying. But moving on. Now, these two, they also talk about the fact that he has cheated in the past. My question was him cheating during that relationship that happened 4 years ago? Or was this previous? Because he made it sound like, yeah, I cheated in my past, but I've learned so much from that, and that was years ago. So, were you cheating like 10 years ago in another relationship? I understand these people are trying to get to know each other. You don't want to put too much out there. But I'm going to need for things to be communicated a little bit better. Because I just want to know, like, were you cheating on a previous partner? Or that last one that you was with? Just curious. Because you made it seem like that shit was 20 years ago. But I digress. Moving on, we see Rose. And she's talking to Cam. And here's the thing. They have a 5-year age gap. Okay? Now, she asked him if he would date a woman with kids. And he's like, yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I never thought that I would. But, you know, first time for everything, basically. Here is my question. Girl, do you have more than one child? Because last time I checked, you only mentioned that you had a child at the age of 21. Girl, your child is almost out the fucking house. Like, I'm not trying to be mean about it, but I'm just trying to understand, like, girl, you have a full-blown teenager that was about, 16, 17 years old? Like, I'm sorry, I just personally feel like there is a difference with you dating someone and your children being young, like 4 and 5 and maybe 8, versus you having a 17-year-old talking about do you like kids? Those are not kids anymore. I'm sorry, the way you approach little children is different than how you approach teenagers. And if people don't understand that there's a difference, they're wilding. But nonetheless, back to the conversation. They talk about the fact that he does want children. And I'm just curious out of her, girl, do you want more kids? Because again, you have a child that's almost out the door. So do you want to start over considering he's 5 years younger than you? Where are we going with this? Let's not waste each other's time. But I don't think these two are going to do anything together, okay? Because basically we learned that he is not tight with his family. And also, he don't really believe in anything, okay? He just coasting and existing through the world. And here's the thing. She seems to be Christian, is like, yeah, well, I need a man. He doesn't have to be religious, but he does have to be spiritual. And sometimes I do cringe when people say that, because when y'all be saying spiritual, I need for y'all to be more specific. Because technically, if we want to be technical, the girlies like Sahara, those are spiritual girls. And they out here working with magic sticks and potions and shit. So, do you want that type of person? Or do you want somebody who, like, actually is into God, into Jesus Christ? Like, I need for us to stop trying to separate religion and spirituality. Because if we want to be technical, spiritual can literally mean that they are into anything, versus hey, I need for you to believe in God like I do, because other than that, this ain't going to work. Okay? Because I'm sorry, a lot of mixed religion relationships, a lot of times that don't really work. Like, I don't know how you could be Jewish and want to date somebody who's Christian. Like, that's a little questionable. Their belief systems are quite different if we actually go and study the religions. But you know what? I digress. Cam is not the man for her, okay? Now, however, y'all remember he was over there googly eyeing with Miss Voodoo over there, Sahara. So maybe they might work. They just might work. But moving on, speaking of Sahara, we saw her talking to Fritz, and she is adamant that the earth is flat. Yep, her and Cam can ride off into the sunset. That right there works for me. Send them right on off. Moving on, we see Coley. She's talking to Hussein. I think that's how you pronounce it. Yeah, Hussein. And all she wants is a man that is tall and kind. That's it. That's all. I'm just like, Coley, I don't know about you. I'm telling you, that brain just it's not working. Moving on, Will and Cam, they're talking, and we can see that Will, he already know he going home. That man is sweating all over the place. We didn't really see him having conversations with the ladies, completely lacking confidence. I'm just like, okay, so you did not even need to come back. Like, if I have to compare Sahara and Will's experience, I must say that at least Sahara came back and was like, I'm going to try with these other people. Will, no, that man, he gave up. We already knew he was going home. Now, when it comes to who the guys liked, okay, they liked Tay, Rose, and a couple of the guys said Rocky. As far as the ladies go, they like Fritz, Cisco, and Hussein. And Rocky mentioned that she liked Khalil and Cam, which means that all of the guys are liked except for Will. As far as the guys, they say that they are not feeling Shanice, probably because of that tacky outfit and the fact that she's all work, no play. Sahara was in the bottom yet again, and Coley. However, well, we know Sahara survived. The ladies, they aren't feeling Cam, Khalil, and Will. So Will goes home, right? Perfect. Not necessary to the show. Coley and Shanice get called up, and Coley is the one who isn't ready for love. So Tommy is like, oh, well, I gave Will an opportunity to come back. And she was like, no, don't even waste your time. Like, kind of the same attitude as Sahara. Maybe it's a feeling thing. I don't know. But I do understand the whole, like, if these guys aren't feeling me, what do I need to come back to try to prove myself to them for? Now, when Tommy told her, like, no, you get to meet the other guys who are here. Then she was like, okay, yeah, I'll change my mind. We can go ahead and do that. Now, I must say, I do like the fact that people were able to get the chance to meet the other singles, because they were sending people home and they hadn't met everybody yet. And who knows if that connection could have been made if they would have met everybody. So I do like the fact that they're allowing people to come back. However, if we really want to be honest, Coley and Will can absolutely go home. They don't need to come back. But y'all, we shall see what happens next episode. Let me know what y'all thought about this so far. How are we feeling about Philly since we've met everybody? Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to y'all on my next review. Bye, guys.